as always, with a roll call.
Commissioner Fluno.
Here.
Commissioner Heidner.
Here.
Commissioner Leese.
Here.
Commissioner Nabbitt.
Here.
Chairman Morris.
Here.
And Commissioners Cotton and Smith gave prior notice that they would be absent.
Okay. Because of the manner by which these meetings are transcribed, we need to remind everyone that they need to speak into the microphone. When you're presenting, there are 2 microphones that are portable on the desk as well as 2 fixed ones. We'd like you to stand by them, please. And if we can, to the best of our ability, not talk over each other, which may be a challenge for all of us. Okay. With that, this evening, first, we have a question whether there's any general public comments. If anyone from the public needs to speak at this point, this would be the opportunity. Okay, seeing no great rush to the podium, we can close the general public comments section. Next, we have a request pursuant to the village, which I just moved, for a public hearing on behalf of Guzman y Gomez, contract lessee for 1, a special use permit for a restaurant with drive-through, 2, a variation from the requirements of the River Tree Marketplace Regional PUD to reduce the rear parking setback, and 3, variations from the requirements of Chapter 19 of the Signage Code. Who's going to speak on behalf of the petitioner this evening? If you can come forward. Okay. And if anyone else is going to testify, we'd ask you at the same time, we'll swear you all in at the same. And the rest are just here for moral support?
Big team.
Okay. Do you want to introduce yourselves first?
My name is Kelsey Neal Nolat. I am from the law firm of Elrod Friedman.
I'm Jason Trombley. I'm the head of U.S. development for Guzman y Gomez.
I'm Paul Rzuski with Elevate Sign Group. I am the sign contractor.
Ian Spence, Kimley Horn, site civil engineer.
Okay. We ask you to raise your right hand and swear or affirm that this testimony you're about to give before this commission of the Village of Vernon Hills shall be the truth.
I do.
Okay, with that, you are on.
Your slides begin in just a second.
Oh, okay.
You can flip through mine.
Okay.
They're there just if we need them later.
Perfect.
All right. Well, thank you, Chairman Morris, commissioners. Thank you so much for having us tonight, and thank you for your time. My name, like I said, is Kelsey Neal Nolat. I'm with the law firm of Elrod Friedman. We are zoning and entitlement counsel for Guzman y Gomez, Mexican Kitchen. As we just discussed, here with me tonight is Jason Trombley from GYG, and our team members from Kimley Horn, Ian Spence. They've steered our traffic and our civil engineering and our landscaping strategy, and our signage consultant, Paul Rzuski from Elevate Sign Group. Tonight we are here to discuss the redevelopment of 701 North Milwaukee Avenue. It sits near the southeast corner of Route 60 in Milwaukee, at the location of the former Top Fitness, there in the River Tree Shopping Center. We are proposing demolishing the existing building and constructing a new 2,402 square foot building with 1 drive-through, an outdoor patio, and plenty of parking to serve the Guzman y Gomez customers. For several months now, we have been working closely with the village staff to discuss and remedy any and all kinds of concerns. We've worked through several iterations of these design plans and technical reviews before reaching the proposal that we are presenting here tonight. Jason's going to provide you with an overview of the company and the goals for this location. And our design team will walk you through the proposal, the site plans, the engineering plans. But before we do, I personally want to thank Andrew and his staff for their advice and guidance the last few months. They have thoughtfully reviewed our technical plans and suggested potential design changes that would help align this project better with the village zoning goals, and very helpfully has helped us reduce the scope of the relief that we are requesting tonight. We've incorporated many of their recommendations, especially related to traffic flow and landscaping and signage, but most notably with the building orientation itself, moving it slightly south towards to the southern boundary, which has allowed us to facilitate more parking, and we've ultimately been able to provide parking that is twice the amount of what is required by the village zoning code. As identified in our written application, and seemingly corroborated by the staff report, we believe that we've met all of the village's standards for the relief that we're requesting, and the plans that are proposed, we believe will complement the surrounding uses, but also maintain the consistency with the spirit of the village's zoning code. So accordingly, we respectfully request your recommendation of the final site plan, the architectural plans, the landscaping plans, and a request for zoning relief. I know I speak for our entire team in saying that we are eager to continue this discussion and answer any questions that you guys have. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Jason to talk about the details further.
Hey guys, thank you for the opportunity to be here and considering our proposition to become a part of your community. I am Jason Tromley, the head of U.S. Development for Guzman y Gomez. I have been targeting a location in Vernon Hills at this trade area for a little less than 10 years as I've been representing Guzman y Gomez. At first, we were on the old Denny's at the mall, and then it came to the point where we could not get a drive-through there because of the restrictions that the mall landlord, and I believe this body didn't allow drive-throughs at that center, and that eventually became the Wild Fork and the Cava. But I was on that for a couple of years and ultimately decided to move on, as the drive-through is a very important part of our business. And I think to be successful in this community with what in our business, we think we need the drive-through. I'm a Lake Bluff resident. I have 4 little children, 12, 9, 7, and 5, and I find myself at that intersection multiple times a week, whether we're at the Sky Zone or the mall or the movies. We're at Chick-fil-A on every day but Sunday. My wife laments that there aren't more drive-throughs actually in that area to take our kids through. So she just have to hustle them out of our big conversion van, which does come to the market. So I think this is a tremendous opportunity to get a drive-through, to get our GYG brand in the community. GYG is based out of Sydney, Australia. The founder is from New York originally. He moved to Australia, loved his time there, built a family, was an entrepreneur who found some success in New York, and then started a couple different entrepreneurial exercises in Australia. Turned around one day and said, I love living here, but I miss Mexican food from back home. So everything he does is top-notch, high quality. So you got the best chefs from Mexico and the best business consultants and restaurant consultants in Australia together, and he came up with the GYG. And at first, Aussies were like, "Why are you putting olives in my food, man?" But they were black beans. They didn't even understand the concept of Mexican food at that time. Started slow in 2006. 1 was okay, 2 was okay, 3 was okay, 4 just okay. And then all of a sudden it took off like a rocket ship after the 5th store. And now there's currently 240 locations in Southeast Asia. We just opened our 7th in the US last week. When I say 240, majority of them are in Australia. There's about 20 that are in Tokyo and Singapore as well. Just opened our 7th, like I said, in Des Plaines last week in the US with the goal of having 15 to 20 to prove the concept, and then it looked to further expand throughout the country. The goal is to be the biggest and best restaurant company in the world. And he's going to do that based on the quality of our food, our product, and the people and the experience that we bring to whatever community that we're in. And we want to bring that to Vernon Hills.
Hey, as noted, my name is Ian Spence with Kinley Horn. I first want to say thank you, Andrew. It's been a pleasure so far working with your team. We started this process back in December, and since then we've gone through a handful of concept site plans. And so the one that we have presented in front of you today, we believe is best suited for this site. It's worth noting that through this process, we have made a number of, we made some concessions on behalf of the village. So when we went to the committee of the whole, there was a desire to get the 60-foot building setback, and we were able to achieve that with this layout. We we wanted to keep those site triangles, visible for the East Town Line Road and mimic the existing sites along that corridor. We've also included a bypass lane, which is non-prototypical for GYG. Their standard is to have 2 drive-through lanes for the ordering, and then it converges to 1 for the pickup. And then our actual building prototype, we actually shrunk it down as well to accommodate this site and the site constraints at this location. There are a few other reasons why we really like this site plan, but I will, in the interest of this presentation, I will save those for later. Moving on. So I am not a professionally licensed landscape architect, but I've worked very closely with our team. Up here is our current landscape plan.
So, excuse me, so this, on this diagram you're showing, is not the building you're going to build?
It is.
This says 3,000 square foot.
Sorry, so,
This said it was 2,400.
Mr. Jennings.
Yeah, so there was a note in the staff report. I tried to highlight it somewhere. We reused all of the plans from technical review. There's a typo on many of the sheets that gets repeated. One of the sheets is actually correct. It is 2406. So a lot of the sheets have the incorrect label on it, but it is a 2406.
Correct.
Proportionally on the site, it fits how it's supposed to. It's just the square footage
Yeah.
label. is
It's just a
off.
text.
So, the size-wise, that's the size of
Correct,
the building,
yes.
but the
Yep.
text is wrong.
Yeah, this text is correct. It's the one on the landscape one that has the error. But proportionally, this is how it fits on the site with the landscaping.
The actual,
Yep.
Yeah, go back.
yeah.
Yes.
The outline doesn't change.
No, what they didn't, they have to go there. See?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
As noted, this is our current landscape plan. The majority of the proposed plants on site are native species. We've also included a plant palette here. In addition to our plant palette, within our submittals, we've provided a tree preservation plan, and we also have full irrigation design for the project.
Can you go back to your landscape plan?
Sure.
Well, there's a better one. I'm going to go one up or one back. Oh, this one's fine. There's an island between the 2 ordering lanes, it looks like.
Correct.
How do you know if you're in the rightmost lane that you have to get all the way left? And how do you do that if there are cars there? Because you talk about a bypass lane, but if you're a driver, there's 2 lanes.
So the,
When you're, right. You've got the menu boards, and after the menu boards, you only have one place to pick up, right?
Correct.
Along the building.
correct.
Okay, and you're claiming that's then 1 lane. How do you get from the rightmost lane into that lane? A. B, how do you know to do that? And then C, how do you do if there's cars that are stacked up in the left lane?
So the current stacking shown is 12.
No,
And
that's not responsive. How do you get from the right to the left?
It's a merge.
Yeah.
Where?
What
Where?
tells you to
What
do
tells you
that?
to do that? How do you know to do it?
I would defer to just rules of the road. I mean,
Yeah, I've been to many drive-throughs around the country, and it's almost, McDonald's has this now, and a lot of other restaurants have the 2-lane, 2-order, then you merge into 1 lane.
But how do you know here to do that? I've seen it at McDonald's too, and there's arrows or there's some drainage. Here, you're saying there's 12 stacking, and the way you've got it stacked here, there's no way to move over.
Here.
So how do you, you're the traffic guy. How do you tell how did the driver know what to do?
just to, for the record, I am not a professionally licensed traffic engineer. He's not in attendance, but
Yeah, but you win, you came in his stead, so.
Yeah.
I think if you guys were willing to discuss it, we could talk about additional signage to.
Or striping,
Or,
yeah.
yeah, or striping to,
What do you suggest? Once again, that's on you. What do you suggest?
we can find out what the best possible options would be, and we can get back to you on that.
I mean, I think the actual striping could be buffed up, but I guess have you seen other type of signage that would be better suited for that?
Sure, but I don't know I don't know what works here. The other question I have is this: what's the elevation of those cars compared to the elevation of Town Line?
So, I have a grading plan here. Regarding the elevation, so the site has about 10 feet of fall across it. That's, for this market, that's a lot for a commercial site. So
Which way?
Yeah,
it's, high side is over on the west.
And it falls to the east?
It falls to the east, correct.
and how does that compare to Town Line, Route 60?
Let me pull that up for you, sir. The drive-through area itself, when you look at, I don't have elevations for actual Town Line Road, but for the sidewalk over there, it's about a half foot higher. I mean, it's pretty similar over on the east where it's lined up. As you go to the west is where you really get some of that grade change.
Okay, so then, if you go to your actual landscape plan, which I think is the next or so,
Sure.
do you have sufficient screening for the sweep of headlights from that drive-through as relates to Town Line Road?
So for the north portion of our site, one of the intents with our landscape plan and really with our site design was to minimize the amount of actual disturbance along that northern side. So there are some existing trees there. I think we could be flexible in repositioning some within our property, but largely in our plans, like we are trying to avoid site disturbance and really preserve a lot of those trees on our site.
I'm actually not suggesting that you should take trees out. My question is, if you come into that drive-through heading north and your lights are on at night, isn't your light sweep going to then go directly into the cars on Town Line? Because you said it's a 6-inch difference, so it's this. Whereas you have the heavy landscaping on the west, where you've got a natural buffer because of the berm. Yeah,
Yeah, so there's an existing berm there, and as it goes from west, I want to say half of the site, that existing berm kind of it turns into more of just a sheet flow condition. So we're not intending to really modify that existing berm.
But any vehicles coming through the ordering, the menu board area, before they turn west, those headlights are going to be going straight into Route 60.
I mean,
You know what the height of the berm is?
Right, so they're, and then as they turn, they're going to be turning into eastbound traffic.
this is kind of,
So even having some sort of landscape bed with
this is like
2 to 3 foot tall vegetation would be enough to block that.
Yeah, I think there's an existing bed at the end. If you just extended it, I think they'd, yeah, if you extended that slightly around the
yeah,
curve.
just around the curve.
Yeah. It wouldn't take much height to
No.
block the headlights at that point.
No,
And the existing berm, we believe, is about 3 feet high,
On the
so that would
west,
block
yeah.
the headlights from spilling over onto Town Line Road.
okay. What are the size of your parking spaces?
they are per village code 9 by 20. 9 by 20 with the vehicle overhang.
Okay. Right. Anybody else? Sorry. All right, you were continuing?
Yeah, these were the plant palettes, and then I'll hand it over for elevations.
Again, thanks. This is Paul Rozuski with Elevate Sign Group. Thank you all for being here this evening, and particularly to Mr. Jennings. We did substantial modifications based on his suggestions, got rid of 6 exterior signs, and kept what was essential. We feel it's balanced and consistent with the brand they're trying to roll out across the country in a very competitive environment. And I can answer any questions you have.
Because you're looking for a sign variance, why don't you tell us what the variances are?
Say that again?
Since you're looking for a sign variance, why don't you tell us what the variances are?
It's about
Yeah.
number of signs per
So-
elevation. Go ahead.
Yeah, so each elevation, except for one of them, we're requesting 2 signs, the logo sign and the identification sign. And then on 2 of the elevations, there is a mural that kind of aligns with the branding as well, but however, that also exceeds the village limits of 1 per facade. So one of the requested variances on each facade is for more than 1 sign. We can flip through them. So you can see each, so here's the north with the logo on one end, the mural, which is very much just a piece of artwork, not necessarily
It looks painted on.
branded, yeah.
Is the Guzman E. Gomez sign by itself within the ordinance, or you have to get a variation for that as well?
So the ordinance requests, only allows 1 sign per facade, and so because.
But size-wise, is that
Oh,
within?
no, it also exceeds it as well, to keep them consistent.
Combined or just a single?
No,
It depends on
Single
which
one.
elevation. I think it does, there's one where it would conform to the code. I think it's it's the same size sign on each elevation, but there would theoretically be one that it would be okay on, I believe.
If they're the same size, why is one okay?
We don't allow, our sign code doesn't allow the maximum sign area on every side of the building.
Okay.
It's cut in half
Yeah.
on the other elevations.
But each of the signs are the same size, and we believe that they're proportional to the facade that they're on, so they don't feel overwhelming.
And I'd like to add that also the way you guys do the code, you put a box around each sign, so, you know, that channel letter sign, the Guzman and Guzman Mexican Kitchen, is listed at 67, but it's really 58 square feet because there's a lot of dead space next to it. But per your code and your definitions, it's 67, just like the logo that's round, it doesn't have so much of a footprint on the building as the square footage suggests, because we have to box everything out.
Okay, so this is north, you have 3 other elevations.
So there's the southern elevation as well, but just with the 2 signs, 1 on each end. Again, we believe that it's fairly proportional and doesn't clutter up the building facade.
Size?
Yeah, go ahead.
Excuse me, one second. Size-wise, how does this building compare with what's there today, the fitness building?
It's smaller,
It's small.
correct? It's smaller than the top fitness.
The building,
Yeah.
the building
Yeah.
is.
And how about, I'm familiar with the one in Buffalo Grove, compared to that one. Is this larger, same size, smaller?
Same stuff, 2,400 is Buffalo Grove.
Same size?
And with the one that we just opened in Des Plaines is 2,600. So that 24 to 26 is a sweet spot.
For reference, the existing building's about 5,000 square feet.
Thank you.
All right,
I think we skipped over the east, so then there's the east side with just the 2 as well. So we've got 2 here, 2 in the mural on the north and the south, or on the north and the western, and then the 2 signs on the southern elevation. And each of those, the relief that we're requesting is of this, it's from the same provision of the village code, or the zoning code.
Okay,
Okay.
what else?
All right, and we'll go on to the directional signage. Can you talk through that real quick?
This is their typical branded directional signage. Plus the ground sign, the monument sign on the right is what we're looking for, and that should comply with the code. And we've scaled back, like I said, a lot of the signage already. We had 6 other exterior signs that were removed from the plan.
One of these is this is, the one on the bottom right is your monument sign?
Yes. And it stayed that size because we wanted to design it per the code.
Is there an existing monument sign out there that you're replacing?
This is a brand-new sign.
Go ahead.
There is an existing sign that is for the overall River Tree Shopping Center.
But not the fitness place that was.
There was no Top Fitness monument sign. We tried to make this consistent size with the First American. There was a First American, which is the adjacent tenant. They have a monument sign that this is very similar to in
And
size.
for the mall sign, will you have access to putting something on there?
No, that's a different owner. And that's why we would push this west, so not as to clutter where that existing pylon is.
Just while we're on that point, if I could just interject, that was one of the challenges during technical review, working through. We did discover that the way that this is set up is not typical. With the ownership, there's no, everything at the shopping center is really designed to protect the main inline shops to the east. So access, shared parking, the ability to work with the outside of the exact property lines just isn't there in this case. So it's one of the unique challenges of trying to squeeze this in a way that looks like part of the shopping center, but is also totally separate.
And the two landlords, they have a very positive relationship now, but I can't predict that that's always going to be the case. But as of now, they're working together and they're in good communication. And from what I understand from what our landlord is telling me, that the overall shopping center landlord is favorable about our use and going there.
So you will not own this facility?
We will be ground leasing. We own the building, but we'll be ground leasing the land.
Okay, what else?
That's the
That's
That's the end of our presentation.
Not you.
That's not
That's
you.
all the relief that we're requesting, but we're happy to answer any questions as they come to you now or later.
I just want to make just a couple of quick points. In the staff report, I added a section here that has not been in previous staff reports. And if it's helpful, I could do it again in the future. But trying to transition from technical review a little bit better, I asked the engineering folks to give me some of the highlights from what they saw through technical review, either it was changed or it couldn't be changed. So that all appears on page 2 of the staff report. I won't go through it line by line, but basically, there was a comment during the concept review that one of the trustees made to try to flip the building. So before we moved on to technical review, I asked them to go through that exercise to attempt to flip the building and see what it did with the site. They did do that. Their assessment was that the site, it created negative impacts on traffic, congestion, reduced parking. Ultimately, we did agree with their assessment that it did make for a difficult situation entering the drive-through and exiting the property. So that was the first item. Traffic flow, we did work with them on a few items. Again, they don't have permission to place signs outside of their area. They're working on that possibility of having "do not block the intersection" sign, because the queue from the northbound exit does back up pretty regularly. Pedestrian access, we had pushed for them to have pedestrian access to the site either along the main drive, which they don't have the ability to do work in, or directly through the site. Ultimately, they were not able to find a spot that they thought would be safe. Due to where the patio is, where the drive-through is, and where the trash enclosure is, there's just no good landing spot on the other side of that. So although we do want it, we were not able to find a good spot to push for that.
I mean, from the north?
From the north, direct from, sort of like with the Raising Cane's.
What about from the east?
They do not have the authority to do that. It's outside of their property. There were some other general engineering comments, landscape updates, adding additional winter interest to the landscaping that was done. And then the big one was probably the signage. They did significantly reduce their prototypical sign package as suggested. So that was it. I'm happy to answer any questions on the staff side of this.
We also have building material samples, if you guys want to review those as well.
Yes, please.
Yes, okay.
Do you want to describe them, or?
Show where they're going.
I can do my best, I'm not an architect.
Is your patio area enclosed?
It is.
So I believe these are,
Is it screened?
No,
Microphone.
just top.
It's covered.
Just covered?
And fenced in as well. Correct. Yeah.
While we're on the material samples, there was a question in the staff report about the material of the trash enclosure gate as to whether it was galvanized or had some sort of finish on it.
I spoke with the architectural team today, and we understand that there's a requirement for masonry or wood, correct?
The material can be, what is it? It's brick on part of it, and then the gates are corrugated.
I think they were corrugated.
I believe so.
They were also flexible, that we can
Yes, yeah.
lean whichever direction
Yeah.
the village
So if they're going to
prefers.
be, it said gray, my question was only, is it gray because it's plain galvanized, or is it gray because it's been finished in some fashion? So I think our preference would be for it to be pre-finished,
Pre-finished?
something pre-finished, so that you're not trying to paint something that's
Is it
galvanized.
possible
I
to
believe it
go
was
through the
finished.
materials
Yeah.
and highlight them on the elevations?
Let's see.
I can see
So-
brick, but
I know for sure, so there's a mesh there. That is not the completely finished product. The finished product would be that mesh and then black, so that's like the top elevation, that's kind of surrounding the
that
top.
this?
Yes,
so this would be painted black.
black.
And that's over the yellow?
Yeah, you can kind of see,
Fencing almost,
yeah, kind of.
wrapped around.
What's the distance between the brick and the mesh approximately?
Do you have?
I have all of the drawings.
Is that similar to the Buffalo Grove facility? Is that on there?
A little more of our updated prototype.
Okay.
Yeah.
You need to use, wait. You need to use microphone. Because the people at home need to hear you.
Yep.
There's a handheld as well.
There, it's under
thank you.
yeah, there you go.
No, this is more of our updated prototype. Buffalo Grove was a 4-year-old design, and they're constantly tweaking.
My concern would be that there's enough of a gap that, birds' nests or animals or something like that wouldn't try to get in between.
This is what we use in Australia a lot, so it's been used.
Yeah, and I don't have any.
Yeah. I just didn't know if like the distance was.
Thank you. Yeah.
Like it's disconnected?
Were any of the photographs in the first slide, did any of them have this configuration on it?
There's only one from Chicago that I couldn't fit in. You would
No.
know better than
Isn't yellow,
No,
Does Naperville have it? I have another
No.
photo of Naperville.
no,
Okay.
this is the new,
Brand
sort
new.
of like modern-ish design. There are stores in Australia that have it.
We can find out if it's not already in here.
And see if they can send me one real quick.
I'm noticing the Buffalo Grove does not have the brightness of your Vernon Hills location? Is that?
Does not have the,
There's a significant amount of bright yellow, which just the surrounding buildings, the surrounding architecture, it seems to be
Our-
very striking.
I think that's a beautiful building, the Buffalo Grove. But when our founder comes to town, he's like, this doesn't look like a GYG. This doesn't feel like a GYG back home. So the tweak is more towards the yellow and
Does the
black.
Buffalo Grove facility have the same coloration on the other side?
It was just installed this past week. It was approved initially, and it took 2 years for us to install, but we installed it this week. I actually do have a picture of that, if you'd like to see it.
I missed the question on that one.
The color.
The question was based around the brightness of the building and, you know, why the other buildings, Buffalo Grove, for example, does not have as much of the bright yellow. I just feel in Vernon Hills on that prominent location,
Is
it's
it
gonna
old-
it's gonna stand out, which I'm sure benefits you.
Right.
But just to the community, it might be a little too much.
Understood. I think Buffalo Grove is an old design, and we want to, now that we're maturing in our growth, we want to establish the real feel of our brand, which is the yellow.
I think notably as well, though, the northern elevation, which is the elevation that faces Town Line Road, it does have considerably less yellow. It's that top left one, whereas the southern elevation is facing the inside of that parking lot.
But the brightness does carry along the entire length of the building.
And I'd like to, since I'm with Buffalo Grove, since we couldn't get the yellow on the building, that's why you see those 12-inch yellow canopies that are not on this design.
Can you go back to that?
The-
other?
So go to Buffalo Grove and you see those, all those canopies. You're seeing a lot of yellow, it's on the canopies, because they were trying to get the vibe that they had in Australia, which now they don't have any yellow canopies on this building.
I understand the yellow and the branding, that makes sense to me. It's just the percentage of yellow on Buffalo Grove compared to Vernon Hills is dramatic. And I'm just wondering if the Vernon Hills can be
Just,
toned down a little bit more.
but just so you know, that's one commissioner's opinion. I like the yellow.
And I don't know, here's
It's
a
fair, both perfect ones.
of a mural that was just installed.
No, not on this
Buffalo
one,
Grove.
not on the northern elevation.
So that,
but
is
on the
that
southern
mural
elevation it
on
is.
the
It does tone it down.
dark brick?
That is on the dark brick, yes.
Okay.
I do too.
Actually, the top looks fantastic.
Yeah, I liked it.
And the one, do you have any photos of the displays one that just went up?
I don't think that microphone's working.
Yeah, is it on?
Probably so.
That was the one I couldn't find photos of.
There's a mural for Buffalo Grove, and Paul, I don't know if you had a Des Plaines one by chance. Paul installed our Des Plaines one last week.
Are they different, the murals?
It's the same artist. There's slightly different designs, so it's just not the same one.
Okay, what else? Anything from your side of the podium? Andrew, I'm curious from the staff's perspective, you made a comment, or they made a comment, that there were significant reductions made in some of the signage, but when you look at the staff report, the delta between the maximum permitted and the actual signage, it's not small, they're like significant differences, like
Yeah,
factors of 5.
yeah, so the elevation, if you look at the elevations that have the mural, that's the biggest bump. So those minus the mural come much closer to, they're getting a lot closer to the one-to-one. The sign code is not really forgiving with the murals, unfortunately. So we do have some murals in town. A lot of them are they're basically lumped into a PUD approval. So the ones like this that aren't lumped into a PUD approval, you're seeing exactly what that variation would look like. So in this case, that variation, because the sign code appears to consider them, sign code basically considers anything to be a sign. I've calculated the signage area for those. If the commission wanted to interpret that that's not a sign and it's purely art, you certainly could, but calculating them in is sort of the most conservative approach.
Yeah, but even like the east, which doesn't have a mural, it goes from 17.5 permitted to 94.9.
So this is another function of, you've got the small side of the building,
Right.
and the sign code says only one elevation can have one-to-one signage. So every other one is 0.5 to 1.
Oh, that was Jim's point.
So
Okay.
the max of the other three is something like 24 square feet, I believe. So it's
Yep, so we do have, on the horizon in the next couple of years, I am talking to our attorney about updating the sign code. We're due for an update. This is one of the issues. Multi-sided buildings is one of the issues that we really do need to try to figure out.
1-to-1 is already the most stringent ratio I run into. You know, Naperville's 1.5. So if you're 1-to-1 and then it goes to half, that's a pretty, that's why he's looking at it for the future, changing that.
How does it impact, though, if we start granting variances that are this extreme from the permitted under the code to the next project comes in and says, you did it before, why don't you do it for
Well,
me?
you're already seeing that.
We are.
That's why we see this.
I know, right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think, on a variation, each one has to meet its
Right.
own, meet the standards on its own. I do think that when you look at something like this, it is, I think, worth considering that a large piece of that is a mural. So, it's certainly up to the commission on how you want to approach it, but I don't think that you need to necessarily worry about precedent.
Yeah, I think last time we didn't have a problem with the mural, and we didn't consider it as signage, but
I can't really have a problem with the mural. I guess like when you look at the east elevation, you say it's proportional, it's pretty big on a small side of the building.
That's also the side of the building that faces the entry driveway to the shopping center. So identification is considerably important. It's important to have on that
But you're going to say
elevation
the
as
same
well.
thing about every elevation, so.
Well, that would be the reality of a four-sided building. But specifically because that is the entry point of the shopping center, we found that identification was very necessary there, especially for a brand that's just now coming to the United States. It's not super familiar, not everyone is super familiar with.
Right, our design marketing team in Australia would want the building to be one big sign. If they had their druthers, and they'd want
Yeah,
a
no, I got it.
digital pylon on top of
Yeah.
the building. And
Right.
What's most important to you, the text or the logo?
Brian, yeah.
you already have
Like
the
for-
logo out on the street.
For example, the east elevation, when you're trying to attract people from the intersection, is the logo going to
They're
attract
both
them?
very
or-
important.
But that's
They're both very important, Brian.
on the east.
Yeah, east faces the traffic light.
The monument sign's only 6 feet tall, so it's not that effective. That makes the building signage that much more critical.
Are you going to get rid of it then?
Right.
What's that?
You willing to get rid of it then?
You made a good
Still
argument. not to have it.
necessary, just not as effective as we'd like it to be.
Didn't we in the past, not too recently, ask them to remove one of those, either the words or the picture?
Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we took signs off of Canes as well.
That's true.
I am in favor of considering that art. I mean, I don't think that should be part of, it's not their logo. It's
It
painted
doesn't
on,
say their
right?
name or anything else.
To me, that's part of the elevation. It's
Right.
part of the building architecture.
No, I agree with you. But
So
Even though
taking that,
ordinance
where
says
we
it's
at?
not.
I mean, if it had words in it or some sort of company branding, that would be different, but this
There's
is
no.
Agreed.
abstract.
What if these circle signs that just said GYG instead of the whole?
I think it's still the same though, isn't it?
To me, one sign on the side is sufficient.
It's area.
I'm old school.
I'm all for branding, to stay in business.
The signs we removed were, that said breakfast, lunch, dinner, where we have that on all of our current buildings.
Authentico. tacos, burritos.
Yeah, and our hours, we like to put our store hours on this, on the buildings too.
There is just that since Raising Cane's was brought up, just to distinguish the two, the petition for Raising Cane's brought the full package in front of you, not altered at all. So you saw no reduction until you requested it. This was reduced in advance. And it was pretty
Well,
substantial.
I was down at the Buffalo Grove facility, and besides all the signage on the building itself, they've got signs loaded in the windows, which they can't do, right?
They can. There are square footage limitations on what can be done. They're considered exempt, but subject to some size restrictions.
So did you say you have the numbers, maybe not with you, with respect to what the request is if you exclude the mural?
So you can see, I think, the difference, 325.9 square feet versus like 94. They are large. It's a large part.
Whole wall.
Yeah, it is.
It's going to be 94 versus 78, which is much closer. Okay. I have another question for staff. With respect to the easternmost entry, which I guess is a full right-in, right-out, everything, how does that, is that quote-unquote sensible with the road, the private road, the north exit?
Do you have a site plan?
A
you
site
could go
plan,
back?
sure.
There you go.
So you're saying allowing, which direction are you asking about?
I don't know the answer to that question. Maybe it's any.
Well,
So we, in going through
I
this,
think that's too close to the private road, is that what you're saying?
Maybe.
so the issue that we have with this was really the private road queuing itself.
Right.
The turn movement there is not particularly close. People are essentially stopped coming out. When you get, the one that we had a concern with was the intersection of private road B and private road A. So,
Or this one, oh, I see.
yeah, so where private road B hits private road A, in the afternoon, that does back up.
Yeah.
Past the point of intersection. So, what we looked at for this was, well, there are other relief points here. You can get out to Milwaukee Avenue if you'd like to. There's another light that direction. You'd be looking at possibly, if you really wanted to go to Town Line Road, you can go around if that's blocked and get in the back and take your chance with all the speed bumps. But it's not ideal, but it's not there's nothing particularly hazardous about it. It's just a question of, will people be courteous and let you in, or do you go another direction and get out on Milwaukee or loop back around?
And it's noted in the traffic plan that I believe you guys have, the 12 queuing spaces is more than the anticipated demand. So any traffic caused by this building and that drive-through would be limited to we anticipate that it would be limited to the site. It wouldn't spill out onto those private roads.
Yeah, we utilized, during the initial concept review, we utilized their best case scenario future growth of drive-through. It's not currently projected to be a very high percentage of the trips, but their wish list is to get it to be more like a 50-50 split, so we use that, or I should say their traffic consultant used that, and we concurred that it would clear, so you wouldn't likely see a backup because they have the two entry points into it.
So my question is, if you're exiting the site through that easternmost exit going south, and you want to make a left turn to go east to get back over to Town Line, you basically, the traffic that could be a problem for you are people coming down private road B to make a right turn, so they're coming from behind you, basically, to make that turn. And is that an issue?
There is, one of the first speed bumps in the shopping center is
I
right
know.
there, so you are
Yeah, I
going
know
to
that.
have that coming down. It wasn't something that our public works folks
Okay.
were concerned about.
All right. Okay, what else? Anything from your side?
Any other comments?
Any discussion from the commission side?
I just have a general comment about pedestrian access. I think the concept, of the restaurant is great. I'm just pretty disappointed that there's not pedestrian access. We have all the development to the north and northwest that provides residential, and with the concept of people can walk. You know, you have all these restaurant or all these workers in the same development. They're not gonna be able to walk safely to this restaurant. So my question is, what did you look at? What did you look up to give up possibly to get sidewalks in that didn't work? Like, why couldn't an access from the east work? The east on your property, so going down Milwaukee Avenue on the sidewalk and getting in a sidewalk in on the east side of your property.
Just to be clear, you're
Yes.
saying installing a sidewalk through here,
Well, it doesn't have to be right behind the curb, but somewhere in there.
somewhere along there.
Is there a sidewalk on the private road?
So there is zero, so not zero. On the east side, there is sidewalk in front of that existing larger box retail. Within the actual shopping center, there's no internal sidewalk. In the existing conditions, by and large, you're going to access this site via, vehicular way. In the proposed condition, that is going to be, mimicked.
But it's two different things. Nobody's going to walk to see, workout equipment. People are going to walk to go to eat.
Unfortunately, because the sidewalk that currently exists is outside the property that we are kind of restricted to, it's within the shopping center.
Well, I'm talking about on Milwaukee Avenue.
So
I'm
you're-
sorry, Town Line.
On Town Line, yeah.
Line.
Along Town Line?
There is one on Town Line,
Yeah.
I think, coming off of there on the east side of your property.
Yeah, so
Okay.
so you'd be saying to install one along private road B?
On your property.
Yeah, so,
To get away from the queuing line more towards the entrance and then bring it back in.
again, so, as of now, we're really not intending to touch that entire area. There's some existing utility easements, existing trees, a lot of grade change, and it would be difficult to install a sidewalk in that location.
And then you're also putting pedestrians crossing over the drive-through, which is.
But it could go
we-
through the driveway, not the
I'm sorry?
drive-through. Through the driveway, not the
Right
drive-through.
right here.
You bring it further south.
It's, I mean, that's going to be the primary access for the site. I would argue, from a safety perspective, it's not ideal.
Okay.
When we were
I'd buy that.
on a staff, when we were looking at that area and the staff, we were trying to come up with any safe way to get it across. When we looked at that particular area, the slope from private road B up to the site is also an issue. And they so basically have to cut into the slope to do it. So we
With the
were,
retaining wall?
yeah, something like retaining wall.
So as far as a retaining wall goes, we don't have any proposed on site right now. And again, there are a handful of easements and buffers around the site. So, we wouldn't want to propose on the west, for example, we wouldn't want to propose a retaining wall within that easement, like County Public Works. For the access over on the east side, as Andrew noted, I mean, we're up to 6 to 7% slopes. This is a very difficult site to develop.
Well, you're also starting from a blank slate here. I mean, you're knocking it down.
By and large, we're actually trying to keep the north and the east pretty similar to the existing conditions. So
Why? I mean, just to limit development or
no, I mean,
cost?
I think a big part of it was to not disturb some of those
Yeah.
buffers, setbacks, and then to encroach on those easements, and then try to maintain some of those existing trees as well.
There are additional regulations as well as part of the PUD that this is subject to, that kind of prevent us from changing the site too much. So it still has to fit into the shopping center's overall plan.
And they wouldn't want a sidewalk? Or I guess it would be more of a private walkway? Is it specifically against that?
Well, I think they've provided one on the other side of that road. So I don't know personally.
Well, you just said that there were restrictions. I'm just wondering what they are.
From the PUD?
Yeah.
I'm not,
Would
100 I
prevent
don't,
this walkway.
what's that?
That would prevent a walkway.
It's not that they would prevent a walkway specifically, it's just changing that site specifically is a little bit more restricted because we are so limited to the boundaries of this property. It's hard to say.
No, private would be,
The entrance?
yeah, it stops right at, I think the curb line is where that boundary's set.
Anyone else?
I do have a picture here of how the mesh goes. This is a recent building in Australia that was just sent to me because they're grinding away in Thursday morning in Australia right now. She says that our designer said there's really no issues with birds. She's never
Yeah,
had that
it looks
before.
like there's a,
It,
yeah.
She says it's 150 millimeters, which I just Googled is about 6 inches as well, off the building. It sort of contrasts that yellow too. It just kind of, the yellow's there, but it kind of,
And you had said
Dampens
before
it.
that it's painted?
Your messages.
no, that's the metal. I'm trying to show the metal.
So is the metal painted? Is it powder coated? Like, what, how is it something from a maintenance standpoint that's going to start to peel off, or?
She said that in her email earlier.
Yeah, I did not print that email. I'm sorry. I know, I thought she said it'd be a matte black.
It does say matte black. Doesn't say what.
What kind of coating?
But is it something that's going to need, because you're not easily going to be able to paint it from,
Sure.
It's kind of where that wood that you were asking about, it goes on that sort of parapet.
and I guess I have the same question on the yellow brick. It looks like it's painted on the sample here. Does it come this way, or does it get constructed and then painted after the fact?
Constructed and then painted,
Okay, so all of the mortar joints will also be painted?
yes. And the bolts, that was a big deal in displays when we finished. And I invite you guys, please go check out Displays in Buffalo Grove if you haven't been in a little bit.
Do you have
From an operational perspective, what are your hours?
7 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Odd sample is the finish for the metal
Breakfast
one?
is 7 a.m. to 10:30.
They have that?
And
Yeah.
breakfast is my favorite thing on the menu, the burritos, breakfast burritos.
To answer your question about the paint on the metal wall panels, do you have a black pack clad sample? Is there? That's the paint that will go on the, yep, there you go. That's the finish.
Building for us down there?
So as far as how it's applied, is it painted on, or does it come prefab, or?
That metal mesh that came black
Okay.
to Displays.
I have a couple questions on the landscape plan.
Sure.
What was the inspiration behind the plant selections that were made?
I will do my best to answer that question. I believe I think 12 of the 17 are native species. For the specific selection, um, I, I can't speak to that. Our team has done work in your community, so I don't know if they're pulling from other types of projects or code.
And I think that generally, the incorporation of native species is a low-maintenance option. It's more sustainable, because we know it'll survive and not require.
I guess where I was going was, are you looking for more blooming plants, a cleaner look, a tighter look, a wild look?
Well, your question.
Yeah, no, that's not my area of expertise either. It would be whatever the recommendation is from our consultants who have done work in this community as to what is best, what has worked best, and what this body has approved in the past.
I have a couple preferences that I'll just throw out there. The potentilla, and luckily you only have 4. I mean, it's the 70s called on that plant. They're really not used anymore for a lot of different reasons, so
I don't know.
That's funny.
if that could be swapped out with something, especially since it's in a prominent location by the menu board.
Sure.
And then from a standpoint of your herbaceous, your perennials, I noted only 1 ornamental grass, and everything else was blooming plants. And I would just say, based on the busyness of the building and the architecture, maybe leaning a little bit more towards heavier use of ornamental grasses, possibly getting a second or third lower ornamental grass, just for a cleaner overall look.
Sure.
The island between the 2 menu boards, it looks like it's concrete. Is there a reason why that's not planted?
Right now, it is proposed to be concrete. Typically, there's,
We have mulch in the one, and it's typically concrete with mulch bedding, and we can throw some plants in there
Is
as
it
well.
concrete or mulch?
It's actually where the menu board is planted, it is concrete.
Concrete.
And then there's
It's
mulch
just mulch.
leading up to it and then afterwards.
I think that'd be a great spot for some low, drought tolerant, hardy plants, just to soften it, salt tolerant.
Yep.
You bring up mulch. What kind of mulch will you be using?
I believe it's shredded hardwood, I believe. Yes, shredded hardwood mulch is what we're speccing out right now.
Can we make sure that that's natural shredded hardwood and not anything that's dyed or artificial, and no rock mulch?
No rock mulch.
That's in the code, isn't it? That was, yeah, I think that's how they designed it that way.
Taco Bell has all rock, so.
And I promise you guys, we don't spare expense. Nothing we do is below grade or substandard in any form or fashion. That's just the mantra from our founder. It's top-notch, everything.
And then the final, depending on if we keep the monument sign or not, having those 2 beds in the upper, I guess that'd be the northwest corner, connecting those beds and lengthening them for the, to kind of soften the headlights as they come around the corner of the drive-through.
Sorry, northwest or northeast?
Northwest corner, where the, it looks like a utility transformer and the monument sign are.
Correct.
Your monument sign, sorry.
Yes. You want that connected?
Those 2 beds are close together, and probably would just make sense to connect them and then lengthen them eastwise,
Sure.
eastward to soften the traffic lights, or the headlights.
So I understand connecting them together. Are you saying to extend that bed all the way to the east side of the property?
No.
No.
When we were talking earlier, we were talking as the vehicles come around the northeast corner of the building, they're going to start to shine light into the eastbound traffic.
Gotcha, okay.
And so if there can be some additional plant material extended eastward.
Yep.
And then you said the entire property is irrigated?
Yes.
So the suggestion that I had jotted down earlier was closer to private road B. So as you go from the north part of or you're going in the north direction and you turn, I had written down extending that bed that's in the northeast corner.
Yeah.
You're talking about the northwest.
You could as well there, those headlights are going sideways into somebody's eyes. As you come around the corner, your headlights are starting to shine into the eastbound traffic.
Well, they're going straight this way.
I thought there was a berm there that blocked it.
There is a berm, I want to say, on the 70% of the site, but then it kind of tapers down as you
Starts
go.
to drop down from
Yes.
west to
So
east.
the headlights would still
So.
spell. Okay.
I don't think it needs to be a heavy screen. It just needs to be some sort of plant material in that 2 to 3 foot
They
range.
do have existing vegetation that's being kept in that spot too, so there's some.
Study it a little
Yeah,
bit further.
yeah, absolutely.
Brian, here's a photo of the drive-through bed, the mulch and some low
Okay.
plants.
Andrew, from a standpoint of plant spacing, how is that looked at by staff?
That is our landscape tech. I can make
Do
sure
we
that
have
they're-
any type of minimum standards of planting on centers?
I believe we do, but not my area of expertise. Happy to, they did review this during technical
Yeah.
review.
Just trying to avoid the, plants are scattered so far apart that it really doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions from the commission?
Yeah, are both of those aisles needed in the drive-through on the west side? I know you have two going around for the, like the emergency exit row, but once you get past your food pickup, are both needed?
That's often maybe a staging area as well, if your order is taking longer than would be expected.
Gotcha.
I don't know if you've been to the Culvers, or how they have,
Yep.
you pull over, sort of the same idea.
Okay, anything else from the commission? Okay, first, I note that notices were provided, and we've not received any comments. Is that still the state of the world?
That is correct.
Okay. I also note that we have in our packets both the 18.3 standards for special use and responses, as well as the 21.5 responses for variances, as supplemented by the Elrod and Friedman memo in our packet. So at this juncture, because this is a public hearing, we have to ask if anyone from the public would like to speak with respect to these requests. No? Okay, we can close the public hearing as no one is making a rush. Any other closing comments you have?
No, I think we're good. Thank you guys so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, we have on this commission a standing motion to recommend approval of various things. There is actually not that many conditions of approval, other than the trash enclosure gate shall be finished in gray rather than gray-colored galvanized metal, I guess. And then from this evening, we have one, that you will work with staff with respect to signage to facilitate the movement from 2 lanes at the menu board to 1 lane for ordering, so people can figure out what to do. 2, there will be an extension, and we'll do this in 2 parts, of the landscaping on the northeast corner to avoid the headlight sweep to Route 60, as well as on the northwest corner. And the change in plant materials, 3, per the comments at this evening's hearing that are part of the record. And then 4, you will investigate with staff pedestrian access to the site from Route 60 and/or the inline retail, to the extent it could be done. Any other?
Are we specifying the type of signage or making any suggestion there?
With respect to the merge, I'm comfortable working with them on what best practice would be. A combination of striping, signage, merge left for drive-through pickup. I'm confident that we can figure that one out.
I've seen a sign before, just lanes merge
Yeah.
ahead or something
Right.
like that.
Okay. Anything else we missed from this evening? All right, so the first motion is a motion to make findings of fact and recommend approval of a variation from section J5 to permit a rear parking setback of 5 feet as distinct from the 10-foot required parking setback. And what we typically do is just make everything subject to all the conditions discussed this evening, so those conditions. And we need a second for that.
Second.
Okay, any discussion with respect to the parking setback recommendation? If not, we need a roll call.
A motion made by Chairman Morris, seconded by Commissioner Nabbit. Commissioner Nabbit?
Yes.
Commissioner Fluno?
Yes.
Commissioner Heidner?
Yes.
Commissioner Leese?
Yes.
And Chairman Morris.
Yes. Okay, next we have a motion to make findings of fact and recommend approval of a special use for a restaurant with a drive-through with associated site plan, landscape plan, and architectural approval, subject to the aforementioned conditions. We need a second for that.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, we need a roll call.
We have a motion made by Chairman Morris, seconded by Commissioner Fluno. Commissioner Fluno?
Yes.
Commissioner Heidner?
Yes.
Commissioner Leese?
Yes.
Commissioner Nabbit?
Yes.
And Chairman Morris.
Yes, that's approved. Okay, next we have the, which would be a motion to make findings of fact and recommend approval of certain variations from the village's sign code. I do have one question that I should have asked before, so I apologize. There's not a separate sign issue with regard to the PUD, it doesn't? Or is it all just ours?
It's all standard sign code as far as I could tell. I found nothing in the PUD that would regulate this.
Okay. So in light of some of the discussion, before I suggest this as a motion, would we have a consensus that we could then vote on? Whether the murals are part, in our view, of the sign square footage or should be excluded from our discussion?
Exclude.
I would exclude.
Exclude.
So do we need to vote on that, or is it enough?
I have the consensus.
So we have consensus.
What I would do in that case is just change the calculation to reflect the amount of variation for the.
In the final minutes?
Remaining
Yes.
things.
Okay.
But
All right.
this isn't going to change future murals. They'll still come in as a sign.
I would still just allow the commission to have the discretion to make that interpretation. The sign code, I think, is so broad that it makes sense to bring it in and confirm that the commission feels that way.
So why don't we then say, if we all agree that here it would be that the murals with respect to this particular building's development architecture are not being considered by the commission as part of the square footage for signage?
Sure, and that's
So it's
reflected in,
specific to
it's
here.
reflected in this, in
Okay.
the minutes. And the elevations that were just part of the previous motion show the murals on it.
Right, okay. Can we vote on them in total, or do we have to do it by elevation?
That is at your discretion.
There's
It's-
some
it's-
discussion about 1 versus 2 on some of them.
It is
the logo.
written as a single motion. We can certainly take it as multiple motions, one per elevation if you'd like.
And I'd like discussion on the monument sign as well, whether that's necessary.
Where is the monuments? Oh, that's here, that's in the second one. Okay, so why don't we do it on a, if we look at, oh, wrong one.
So the monument, you're talking about the primary monument sign?
He's talking about.
Top
what they're
Fitness
proposing.
currently does not have a monument sign.
Well, they have a odd sign to the south of the building, but not a Town Line Road sign.
Right,
First American does.
First American does.
Yeah.
yeah. All right, so let's do this in parts. Let's do first, making findings of fact and recommending approval of variations from Chapter 19 signs with respect to approval of the sign code variance for the north elevation, which is the primary elevation facing Town Line Road
Can you
with,
flip to those what he's talking
oh,
about?
I'm sorry. Okay. Subject to our prior consensus that we're not looking at the mural as part of that sign square footage. Oh, there you go. So it's this one. So we need a second for that.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on this one?
Well, as I stated before, I'm not a logo person, and I don't think logos belong in identification signs, unless you want to use that solely as your identification sign.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, if not, can we do a roll call on that one?
We We have a motion made by Chairman Morris, second by Commissioner Leese. Commissioner Leese,
Yes.
Commissioner Fluno,
Yes.
Commissioner Heidner,
No.
Commissioner Nabbit,
Yes.
and Chairman Morris.
Yes. Okay, next is the south elevation, please. Whoops, there you go. Okay, next we have a motion to make findings of fact, recommend approval of variations from Chapter 19, the sign code, with respect to the south elevation. So we need a second for that?
Second.
Any discussion on that one? Okay, we need a roll call.
We have a motion made by Chairman Morris, second by Commissioner Leese. Commissioner Leese,
Yes.
Commissioner Fluno,
No.
Commissioner Heidner,
No.
Commissioner Nabbit,
Yes.
and Chairman Morris.
No. Okay, next we have a motion to recommend, make findings of fact and recommend approval of variations from Chapter 19, the sign code, with respect to the east elevation, which, no, there it is. Okay, and we need a second for that.
Second.
Oh, sorry. You could have it.
Rock, paper, scissors? Okay. Any discussion on that one? Okay. This one, I will say, I do think it's disproportionate on this side, but they will make a decision. So we need a roll call.
Motion made by Chairman Morris, second by Commissioner Nabbit. Commissioner Nabbit,
Yes.
Commissioner Fluno,
Due to the size, no.
Commissioner Heidner,
No.
Commissioner Leese,
Yes.
and Chairman Morris.
No. Okay, next we have a motion to make findings of fact and recommend approval of variations from Chapter 19, the sign code, with respect to the west elevation, subject to our prior consensus that the mural is not part of the sign square footage. And we need a second for that.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, we need a roll call.
We have a motion made by Chairman Morris, seconded by Commissioner Fluno. Commissioner Fluno,
Yes.
Commissioner Heidner,
Yes.
Commissioner Leese,
Yes.
Commissioner Nabbit,
Yes.
and Chairman Morris.
Yes. Okay.
Can I ask a quick question on the southern, or sorry, the east and the southern, yeah. So the relief requested is pursuant to different provisions. So the denial of the relief, is that for one of them? Is that for,
Is
you
it for the
mentioned the
logo
height?
sign or is it the size?
Is it just a denial of the size?
It's as shown for both of them for me.
Right.
They could be changed.
Can I discuss the? I agree with you guys on that east elevation. Can we make that sign 20% smaller? The Guzman, the logo's proportion, the Guzman's pushing the borders a little bit,
The text.
the black text, and then we could present it and you
Go
guys,
to the
Is
elevation
that
when
the
you're
east-
talking.
the east elevation?
east elevation, the black lettering. Because that's a critical elevation, but
There you go.
it could be, shrunk 20% down.
That was why I voted no.
That's
Because I
why
thought
I'm,
the text was too long.
so,
We could agree to a condition?
yes.
To make it 20% smaller?
I'd have to see
Is
it.
there a way to show you, can we do that via an email? I mean,
When they-
We're not
I
going to.
can't draw it right now.
You're
they have
not-
to vote.
Trying not to get tabled, too.
Yeah, I think you're, if I can speak for you, the commission's a recommending body. If you are requesting for it to be continued for that purpose, it would lengthen the amount of time. So if the commission, if there's a consensus on the commission to reduce the size, and that seems to be the issue, they can express that through another motion. You've got one motion that failed, you can have another motion on the same elevation that could pass, for all we know. So if there's if you believe, as the sign professional, that a 20% reduction is still legible, 20%, I mean, you know the height of the sign.
Yeah.
So 20% reduction, you can probably figure out
Yeah.
how tall the letters would be, if we just take 2 seconds on the math.
Yeah, so if it's 18.
3'7" by 18.
So it would be like 14 and a half feet long. So you're chopping off 4 feet of that sign.
Seems appropriate.
So you can also say it's like 1 foot, the letters are 1'9". You know,
The G.
3.7 is the height,
is the total height.
80% of that is,
So basically get that 67 square
5.
feet,
it's like 2.5 to,
get the 67 square feet to 53.6 square feet, if you go proportionally.
So approximately, the text would run to about the M in Gomez on,
Because there's
Which is-
nice contrast on that yellow, so I think it'll still be legible.
In which, for reference, that would nearly it'd be just over what is permitted for the single facade, notwithstanding the 50% reduction for the multiple facades. That would be right about the permitted amount.
But the permitted amount is half, so that's not true.
So the reduction of 20%, just could you repeat one more time, the height of the sign ends up being?
Yeah, I think it's safest and clearest to go with the square footage.
Okay.
20% of the square footage, which would be
53.7.
53.6.
And then how big is the logo, square footage wise?
The logo is 27, again, that's going,
There's a,
making it a square,
Square,
but it's 27.
so it's 80, or 90, I'm sorry.
So it's, pardon me?
No, it'd be 80 square feet then,
80, yeah.
compared to 17.5 permitted. Okay. Right. So we can do a separate motion then, which would be to make findings of fact and recommend approval of the east elevation signage as modified this evening at the request of the petitioner by reducing the, what do you want to call it?
sign D.
This, so that's right, sign D, by 20%, resulting in approximate square footage of 80 square feet. Is that right?
Total.
Total, right, yeah. Okay, so we need a second for that.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, now we need a roll call on that one.
all right, we have a motion made by Chairman Morris, seconded by Commissioner Fluno. Commissioner Fluno,
Yes.
Commissioner Heidner,
No.
Commissioner Lees,
Yes.
Commissioner Navett,
Yes.
and Chairman Morris.
No?
Okay,
Okay. Then we have a motion to make findings of fact and recommend approval of sign code variations to permit directional signs in excess of 3 square feet and including business identification graphics.
so just to explain what this means, directional signage is considered exempt in the sign code.
Right.
What we have done in the past is if somebody goes out of the bounds of what is written under the exemption, so the language that says that it's exempt specifically states no graphic for the representing business identification and no more than 3 square feet. So in this case, you have both of those things. They are no longer under the guidelines, the limitations for what's considered to be exempt. The best way we've handled that in the past is just to call it out as a variation.
So it's basically the logo on top. of
Exactly,
these.
exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Can I, this is the last of the list, but we didn't talk about monument
No, that's-
signs.
The
adding
monument,
that?
the
That's not
monument
mine. Oh,
signs,
that's right.
yeah, so it's not in the variation exhibit because it
Right.
didn't require variation.
Yeah, so that's next, but yeah, okay. So, did I make a motion? Did someone second it?
I have some discussion.
Oh, okay.
Sign J, that's located in the island between the two drive-through lanes?
That's the monument sign, correct?
Yes, J's the monument.
J's the monument sign that will go out on the
J's the
on the berm, parallel to Town Line Road.
Okay. Where is, I guess it would be L, right?
Yeah,
L,
It'd be at the front of the
Okay.
little island.
Don't have a problem with L.
say that again?
So he doesn't
Good.
have a problem
We're
with
good
that
with
one.
All right.
Actually, sorry. The same problem with sign J then. The plant material that you have planted around the monument sign is going to block the drive-through text on the bottom of your
So
proposed
I
sign.
would have, I'm not the landscape guy, but I'm sure they would accommodate, because that seems like it's in everyone's best interest to change that.
I know Chick-fil-A, the plants are growing over the drive-through, and typically you'd want at least 24 inches of nothing before you get to,
We could look at having those grasses we discussed earlier around it instead.
yeah, I mean, based off of this, it looks like the drive-through text is pretty close to the ground,
Yeah.
so.
Very astute.
If I had to do some snipping at Buffalo Grove today, because of the grasses were growing.
Since that is not part of the,
Yeah.
what I would do is, I don't hear any argument from the commission. Rather than do a new motion, I can just note it when it goes to the village board with the special use site plan. It's an additional comment that was made.
Sure.
No, we're not going to talk about the monument
We
sign
will.
separate?
Oh, we will. That's just the landscaping we're talking about.
And we didn't go back and discuss the south of the elevation. Can we do that too, please? Or the other one that you guys denied?
Sure. Well, let's first handle this.
Let's get through this one. Yeah.
So we have a motion to make findings of fact to recommend approval of the sign code variations with respect to the exempt signs to permit directional signs in excess of 3 square feet, including business identification graphics. We need a second for that.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on that?
I just, once again, I think it's over signage. The direction is fine. We don't need to have the logos on there as well.
Have we done this in the past? Like, I don't remember seeing any logos on any other directional signs.
The one, we have done it in the past. The most recent I recall was Guidepost Montessori. It was a couple of years ago now.
Does McDonald's have them?
I think on their drive-through sign, I was not here for that one, but I think on their drive-through sign, they
They just have the,
yeah,
I think, an
yeah,
M.
the basic end, but it's not unheard of. I think, I can't remember, the KFC might have before it became Taco Bell.
It's a variance, so it's not normal.
Yeah, the Guidepost, I think, was the most recent that I recall.
And of course, they're not in existence.
Do you remember if we've said no to anybody else recently?
I don't know. That I don't know.
I don't know.
I know Kane's had a lot of signs.
That's what I'm thinking, like, did we tell them no?
It's in the minutes.
No, so,
Well, Kane's is a little bit different because you have to maneuver through a parking lot
that's correct.
without any sort of drive aisles, really. There's
Yeah.
like no private roads. All right, so we need a roll call for this one.
We have a motion made by Chairman Morris, seconded by Commissioner Nabbitt. Commissioner Nabbitt?
Yes.
Commissioner Fluno?
Yes.
Commissioner Heidner?
No.
Commissioner Leese?
No,
And Chairman Morris.
Yes.
Oh, where's Commissioner Cotton?
Should say no. Okay, then we have the question of the monument signs. Is your question the sign, the size, or the existence?
Mine was the existence based on the high visibility of the building. With the understanding that the neighbors have signs, I guess.
And they're allowed.
Melody across the street doesn't have any signs.
No, you don't.
So it's kind of the status quo on this side of the street, I guess.
They do have a pylon, though. They're part of a pylon.
So I guess I'm fine with it.
The
They all,
bank has
they
a
all have
sign.
signs, right? Like Olive Garden, they all have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, River Tree, the outlots
Yeah.
have signs.
that's right.
Melody, they don't.
okay, so we need to vote on it all.
Well, I don't like it because it says drive-through. I don't think that's an appropriate thing to put on the monument sign.
Commissioner Heidner, I will say, though, we have a lot of research on this, that knowing that the drive-through there is a significant
They'll see it.
factor in whether
It's
we have a
not
drive-through.
unobvious.
I would agree that since the drive-through faces Town Line Road, it's going to be fairly obvious that there's a drive-through.
One would think.
And removing the text would take care of your landscape
Issue.
Make it a cleaner sign.
I think there's also an issue, though, with the visit, it's, I think maybe even intentionally this way, but the berm along Town Line Road blocks the driveway from the road. And so it's not necessarily super visible, maybe like the tops of the cars, but
I think the drive-through windows and the tops of the vehicles will be,
Yeah, the berm was
Pretty-
maximum 3 feet, you said. It's not
And the
really going to cover more
canopy.
than.
might block
half
out
your
the
door.
tires.
I understand what you're saying, and I might just, if I may, that in my opening statement, it's so critical that moms and see that moms and dads who are taking their children to sporting events in this community, to the movies and whatnot, know that there's another drive-through option, because there are limited, actually, in that particular area. For being a super regional trade area, there aren't a ton of drive-throughs there, and that's such a significant competitive advantage to choosing to go to GYG versus somewhere else.
I don't know, there's Chick-fil-A, there's McDonald's, there's Portillo's, Taco Bell, they all got drive-throughs. I don't know, I don't buy that argument at all.
Candace got it?
I mean, when Australia came and looked through our last site we did as a sign contractor, the big thing they hammered me on was drive-through.
That's marketing talking.
How many of your customers are repeat customers?
So that's a tough question to answer, sir. As we build the brand, I don't think I have that data.
Because I would argue that once you've been there once, you know that there's a drive-through, so the signs, or if you've seen other locations in the area, Deerfield, Buffalo Grove are fairly close.
I get it. It's getting them in that first time that's so critical at this stage of our growth.
Okay, why don't we do this? It sounds like we're in consensus that the existence of a monument sign is consistent with the remainder of the development of River Tree. But the question is whether the particular signage we would recommend the village approve with the existence of drive-through on the sign. So why don't we do it's a polite way to put it, our suggestion or our recommendation of the board, to consider whether the drive-through should be included or not. And we can do it, once again, as a, positive motion, that we would recommend approval of the monument sign, including the drive-through. Therefore, if you voted yes, you'd say it should be on it. If you vote no, you think it should not be on it. But the existence of the monument sign is something that we're not contesting. Does that work, Andrew, for you?
It does. I do have just a procedural question of what, and I can address this. This is a recommendation that's not related to one of the motions. This is purely taking, does the Plan Commission want the board to take this into consideration? I'm not sure the board can consider it if it is a permitted sign. But I will,
Well, we could,
that I'll need to
we could
figure
go
out.
backwards and we could look at the full site plan, everything, and
Yeah,
stick
so
it in there if we wanted
I
to.
think what I will do is take this and make sure it ends up in the memo, very
Yeah.
similar to what I've done on some last cases.
That's
So
fine.
make sure it ends up in the memo, Plan Commission question this
Right.
for the board to consider as part of the total, the site plan
Yeah.
package.
Okay. Right, so we need a second for that.
Second.
Okay, otherwise we'll die for that. Okay, we need a roll call. Again, by voting yes, you are in agreement that the drive-through would appear in the monument sign. By voting no, you believe the drive-through should not appear in the monument sign, but we're not contesting or arguing about the existence of such signs.
So once this comes to fruition and it's approved by the board, then are we going to have McDonald's and Taco Bell and everybody else back in here requesting sign changes?
Maybe.
I would think not, since they're established brands and everybody knows that. So that's what these guys are in, not that position.
Well, Taco Bell's pretty
Well,
established.
Taco Bell had breakfast, and we made them change it to drive-through.
I don't remember that.
Oh,
but-
yeah.
Okay, all right.
Who seconded this? Thank you.
No, you did, didn't you?
No, no, no.
Okay, so we need a roll call.
Motion made by Chairman Morris, seconded by Commissioner Fluno. Commissioner Fluno.
And to be clear, this is all of the ground signs, not just the monument.
This
No, we're
particular
talking just the monument.
Just the monument?
is making a recommendation for the board to consider whether or not to remove the drive-through text from the main monument sign.
So a yes would be to remove it, or a yes would be to
Yeah,
keep?
I'm gonna-
Yes is to
was
approve as presented.
Yeah, yes.
No.
Okay. Got it. There's a no. Okay, who's next?
Sorry,
Find right back.
Commissioner Heidner,
no.
Commissioner Leese,
Yes.
Commissioner Nabbitt,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith is not here. Chairman Morris.
No. Okay. What else do we have? Or is that it? Okay.
There was a request by the petitioner to consider
Oh,
the
other-
south elevation.
Southern.
South elevation, you want to pull that up,
Yep.
please? Okay.
So with the east elevation, we knew why you said no. This one, I'm not sure.
Is this the right elevation?
Yeah. This is the one that faces the parking field.
Oh, okay.
For me, I was trying to keep to the one sign per elevation. I understood that the north and east were critical to your visibility, so I voted yes for those. This one just faces the parking lot of the mall, so that was a no.
Is now an appropriate time for a comment or discussion? May I say something?
Sure.
So a lot of the signs that we removed proactively today were talking about the products that we serve: nachos, beer, margarita, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then drive-through. There's no signage now that talks about any of what our products are, that we have a drive-through anywhere on the building whatsoever at this point, which is going to be somewhat problematic when we go back to Australia.
You have drive-through on the building in Buffalo Grove?
Yes. We have our hours of operation, the products we serve, drive-through, and what was it? Hours of operation, drive-through, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and nachos, beer, margaritas. Hours of operation.
Were those signs in those pictures you showed us earlier?
No.
I did not, I didn't see them.
Not all of them were.
Do you have the ones that were removed? Is that what you want?
Naperville looked like it had signs, but it almost looked like it was inside.
If you see the Buffalo Grove
You have
sign, I mean, it's signs all over the whole building.
Yeah.
That's all, one big sign all over the place.
Because it didn't look like it was on the elevation.
There's just zero messaging now about what we serve
That's all what was removed.
or what we do.
But, and just from an aesthetic standpoint, you have yellow on yellow sign there, or signee is. There was accent lettering that gave this side some character. It's gonna be a little blah with nothing on that.
Yeah, I mean,
You know what I mean?
It's a little building.
Would you consider moving your text over to the yellow and making it black?
We have to keep the text there, but we could, it'd be nice to have something on that end of the building.
like breakfast, lunch, dinner.
You mean you went?
That's not
Nachos.
illuminated.
Well,
Yeah, to
I
get
just
one,
don't feel like
nachos,
two
burgers.
signs on that
Oh,
elevation,
you
because
went-
it faces,
I'm okay with
she's got
one sign.
what we took away.
I understood kind of on the wood panel towers on the corner, the northeast corner, they had the two circular logos. But on this side, it just seems like it just,
That'd be really nice.
Yeah, I'm
Tossing it
not
around.
necessarily a fan of the yellow on yellow there, that puck in there, and it just doesn't really say much.
it repeats the same
I can.
message that's on the other side, yeah.
Which one would you, not that they're gonna, I think the breakfast, lunch, and dinner would be nice to
I
reintroduce.
think the issue though is that he just wants one sign, he doesn't.
But this is a non-illuminated.
Okay.
More signs.
Well, not more, what I'm proposing is to remove sign E, which is an illuminated logo, and we know some of your disdain for logos, and include a non-illuminated low sign that helps show what they do and give some more interest to that kind of dead end of the building. I mean,
It doesn't,
The lights are there because that's what, you know.
Why not a
to
mural
make
for
this-
that
To
side
make
building?
this building look a little more effective. Is that even in play? That's what was our original submittal. Non-illuminated letters. They don't light up and they're low. And it's kind of cool because the dinner is yellow on the black, on the dark brown brick, and the breakfast and lunch.
I think if you've gotten that close to the building, you've made a commitment to give it a try.
I'm just saying, it's going to
You
look
don't
totally
need to see
different
the-
without that. I'm trying to give the building some character.
Well, you don't have a mural on that side of the building.
I know, and yet we're getting less signage on this side. So I really appreciate the other side because it looks awesome. But in terms of balance of interest, it doesn't look like the same building from side to side.
What we're finding is to be successful in this, in the United States, we need the brand awareness. We need people to understand what we do, who we are, the products that we have, what we can offer.
called advertising.
I don't think you've mentioned, who are the two individuals on the logo?
Pardon?
The two individuals on the logo. You
They
mentioned there was a
are,
businessman from New York that was the founders.
those are childhood friends of the businessman, that he would go over their house and have Mexican food and hang out with them growing up in Long Island.
Nice.
So what you're saying is it needs to be a balance. And I agree that there has to be something here because it's going to not look balanced. You're going to have an empty side of the building.
Yes, I think the empty side of the building is not optimal. I don't necessarily agree with the yellow puck on the yellow building, but if we could somehow maybe get some black, non-illuminated letters that maybe describe what we can offer.
Yeah, that's the main, this is the main entrance here, right?
That's where most of your vehicles, yeah.
That I would be
Would you
open,
go to that?
yes.
Would you guys be open if we swapped them and did the black identification sign on the eastern portion of the building and put the medallion on the left side on the grating?
But it's more Kelsey too, what I'm trying to communicate is the criticalness of one of those other, there's no drive-through, there's no hours of operation, there's no products that we serve. And hours, did I say hours of operation?
Where I saw hours of operation on the unit in Buffalo Grove were your window signs.
We didn't have.
I have not been to your franchise yet, and I know that you serve Mexican food based on the name of your
Company.
So
Right.
I can kind of imagine, now, do I know that you have coffee and breakfast? No.
Most
Which
people
we're
just
finding
check
is
the
pretty
internet.
critical.
Most people just check the internet.
So,
Hours.
so you were just saying to put the Guzman y Gomez in black on the yellow section?
So it would contrast.
I'm more concerned about the messaging.
Right, but we didn't propose those
You-
signs
Yeah, I
in
agree.
this proposal, so we can only go so far.
Just the last straw of the eliminating the drive-through, I'm losing the 4 things we've been fighting hard for in all our other locations.
I do understand the importance of signage. It's very important.
If they need 2 on this side, can they take another one off on a different side? Is it total we're looking at here?
There's a limit of 1 per facade.
Right.
And so we've requested 2 on each facade.
So when you go back to Taco Bell, for example, they had to pick the logo or the text. They couldn't have it
Right.
together. And I think McDonald's was the same way, right? They had McDonald's on one and they had the logo on the other. So it's consistency, but I realize that the north and east elevations are where most people will view their building. When you're in the parking lot of River Tree, you're,
That's also facing trees.
Okay.
Oh, wait, no, that's, sorry, don't do that, 'cause that's
What is a concrete proposal you want us to consider?
Yeah, good question.
And that's up to you.
I would see what's more amenable to you guys before we tell you what we want. I mean, I think that's, I mean, honestly, so,
Some of that message, I would love to get some of that messaging somewhere. Okay. Any of those 4 ideas that were 0 for 4 on that messaging. The breakfast, lunch, dinner,
and it's not illuminated and it's low.
Hours
So
of
it's less
operation.
impact, but still
Is it
important
painted,
to
it's
them.
just painted on?
It's like a 1/4-inch letters, it's called FCO, flat cutout
Like-
letters.
Kind of
They're-
like, if you guys remember Ed the Bed.
Like aluminum letters to just go right on. So they're dimensional. I mean, if you prefer to, we can make them look painted on, but
Almost like
this,
a metal sign.
yeah,
fixed.
but letters. And it's in the, breakfast, lunch, and dinners.
that'd be my,
It's smaller.
that one
and-
are hours of operation. Or we can put that in the window claim to your.
But I think,
Well, I
the-
wasn't suggesting you do that, I'm just saying
No,
what
right,
you did.
no, you brought, and it wasn't a suggestion, you brought up that it's possible.
but I think breakfast, lunch, and dinner, from a design, it's not my design, it's Australia. The way dinner is yellow. Yeah.
So they can.
Show them on the elevation, though.
This one on the left side.
This one right here?
Yep.
We don't have that, do we? No.
No,
Oh, yeah.
that's what they cut.
So it would look like this on the building, just without the medallion.
So it goes right where the building colors change, which I think is cool. And they're not big. It just balances out the building.
My personal preference is your building has such
Under those,
strong horizontal and vertical lines that if they were to go there, they would kind of be in the area between the sconce lights and the ground, and they'd be horizontal, they wouldn't have a tilt to them. The tilt kind of looks like it's like it just doesn't mesh with the building overall.
I'm not designing, the height of it, that's how they design. This is the first one, straight.
Okay, so is that your request?
Are you okay with that as the request, to swap the medallion for the?
Yes, that'd be great. Then it would be black, so it'd be a nice
And,
little.
and thank you for considering all this.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Is this, wait, okay, this is,
So,
is this the 20% reduction or no?
No.
No, that's not, okay.
This becomes breakfast, lunch,
Okay,
dinner.
so you're asking us to make a finding and a recommendation for approval to the southern elevation to retain the Guzman y Gomez sign, delete the sign E medallion, and in lieu of it, put, what is it, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, black on the lower portion of the yellow facade,
Non-illuminated
non-illuminated.
at 41.7 square feet, which was the original submittal, which
Okay.
Mr. Jennings will have.
We can provide it again with an updated elevation.
Okay, all right, so we need a second for that.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay,
And you're keeping it at the angled versus squaring it off to the building?
The angle is the, kind of the trademark design of that.
all right, so we need, okay, we have
yeah, second.
1 second. We did, okay.
That's fine.
so we have a motion made by Chairman Morris, seconded by Commissioner Nabbitt. Commissioner Nabbitt,
Yes.
Commissioner Fluno,
No.
Commissioner Heidner,
No.
Commissioner Leese,
Yes.
and Chairman Morris.
No. Yes?
If we make it straight, will Mr. Fluno be on board with us?
This will go to the board. That will.
It's
they
just a
will-
negative recommendation, so it's a
Gotcha.
higher
Understood.
vote requirement.
They'll look at it.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, anything else we've missed?
Yes, if it was squared off, I would have voted yes.
Anything else, Andrew, we've missed?
No, that is it. What I would say then is I will package that up and describe exactly what happened with the various motions, the conditions of approval primarily from the special use, landscaping, et cetera, that motion. I will have this to the board on August 12th. There's one meeting in August, so when I write it up, I will most likely write it up as a vote in the single meeting. and make that request to the board. Normally, it's a first read, second read, but because we only have one meeting in August, I will write it, package it all up with the ordinances, and if the board directs me to come back a second time, I would. But I will try to get it in a single meeting because of the unique schedule for August. Okay?
Okay, great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you
Thank you,
guys so
everybody.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director.
Okay, okay,
Appreciate your time.
okay. Next we have,
Oh, yeah, thank you so much.
okay. Next we have approval of minutes. There have been certain modifications made that Andrew has regarding either typographical or just missing words. So we can do by acclamation the minutes for March 19th, April 2nd, and April 23rd. And we need a second.
Second.
Any discussion other than what we've already said? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? They're approved. Next, we have development review.
Oh, we have two more.
We did them all, we did them all. Yeah.
Okay.
Two more what?
Sorry, you did them all.
Yeah, we did them together. So development review we have,
Yep.
We picked them.
yeah. Development.
Okay, just some brief notes. Yard House is opened. Hacienda Real has opened. The site work for Kitty Academy has begun. They had their groundbreaking this week.
Where's that?
What's that?
Where's that?
It is 320 Fairway, so just north of the Pizza Factory.
The swim school and the daycare that we saw last year.
Okay, yeah. All right.
A permit has been issued for a large grocery store, about 100,000 square feet in the former Bed Bath & Beyond unit. They are known by several names. This one is going to be Farmer's Best. They are also known as Cermak Produce. Farmer's Best. I'm pretty sure it's Farmer's Best.
I think you're right, though.
But yes,
Yeah, that could be it.
Eggland's Best.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
The permit for the Mall Drive relocation has been approved. That is part of the Phase 2 project for the mall, straightening out Mall Drive, getting rid of the curve by Sleep Number. Qdoba is returning to the village in the former GameStop unit. They're taking 2 units actually there. Raising Cane's
Yeah,
permit
just across the street?
from where Qdoba used to be, yes
Yeah,
it is.
okay.
How are they going to park that little parking lot?
So the parking lot is shared with the entire, that part is tight, but it is
real
shared with the
tight.
rest.
The park at Walmart.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Raising Cane's permit review is underway. The Nest permit review is underway.
Oh,
And-
that's still going through.
The board did approve that. The next phase of the mall redevelopment, they did push it back, but we're anticipating now an August 27th hearing. So if you could save the date for that, that would be great. We had a quorum, a safe quorum of, I think, 6 on last poll.
Okay,
And that's it for me.
all right. Yeah.
Uncle Julio's, yeah, we did have a couple closed. On the Border closed.
And Guidepost took
Oh,
over, was,
Guidepost
Somebody else now.
was sold, actually. The Guidepost was going to rent. Children's Land bought the building.
Right.
Any more stores? Or my favorite place? I'm like worried because there's like,
nothing in there. There's one store.
No, we've had discussion with them. We're in contact with them. We have a regular meeting with them every other week, basically. They have a new marketing team. They are continuing to work on it. There's a lot of interest in, at least what they've reported to us, is there's a lot of interest in the exterior-facing units that are proposed with the second phase. So the ones that would face south and the ones that would face east toward the plaza. So those don't exist yet. So, but there is a lot of interest in those. So that's a good sign.
okay, good.
Okay,
Nothing for the lot between Yard House and Perry's. no.
They're still negotiating with First Watch.
oh, okay. Okay,
That paused for a while and it picked up again in May.
Right.
In May.
okay. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. Then we don't have nothing until probably the 27th of August, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so then we have a motion to adjourn. We need a second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Right.
Anybody opposed? Okay, we're adjourned. Good night.